Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show. It is your place for helpful Web3 news, commentary, and of course, answers to your crypto questions with our community, the Faceless Many. My name is Evan. I've been here since 2017, wondering what the heck Bitcoin was, started to figure it out in 2019, and then I met a lot of friends who formed a community, and that's what changed the trajectory of my life in cryptocurrency, in understanding what this stuff actually is and why it might matter to everyday people like us. And we've got a great show today. If you're somebody who is just curious about this stuff, if you're a little skeptical about it, if you have questions and you feel like people talk down to you or talk past you or just need to slow it down and help you get up to speed with what's really going on here, then this is the show for you. I'm going to be joined shortly by my colleagues, Mr. Alex Popovich, Mr. Will Watson, and we've got an awesome guest, my good friend Sandra today. I think everybody is here, and so I'm going to bring them up. And while I do that, why don't you tell me who you are, where you're watching from, and if you're a cryptocurrency user or if you're somebody who is curious or concerned about it. Will, good morning, my friend.
Morning. How you doing?
How you doing, man?
Good.
Good. And here is Sandra. Sandra, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show today. I was going to give you a brief introduction and let Alex get up here so there are no interruptions. But in the meantime, how are you?
Hello. How are you guys?
I am doing so well. I'm
Doing
so
good,
excited
Sandy.
that you agreed to come on and share your time with us.
Yeah, no, I have another engagement, so I'm only going to be able to be here for like 30, 40 minutes, something like that.
I know you had said that, and that's totally fine. That'll be enough. I want to give just some context for folks. We've been friends for a couple of years, and I first became familiar with Sandra through her work as Onboard 60, and I will let you get into that in a second, but wanted to say by way of introducing this conversation that Alex and I were talking last week about a call he'd had with a woman who was 82 years old. She's a follower of ours. And she follows a number of people in the cryptocurrency space. And it is an all too common issue that people of all ages are taken advantage of by impersonators, by scammers, by folks who want to steal their private information or their money. But I think it is an especial problem that older folks will be taken advantage of because they are generally slower to adopt newer technologies, or at least we pay less attention to them. It seems like we tell them a bad story, and Alex was like, "What can we do to help these people?" I said, "What can we do? Because they trust us, and so if somebody can convince them they are us, these folks will, send us money, sign over their bank accounts, give us their address, whatever. And we don't want anyone to be in that situation." So, Sandra, that's why one of the reasons I really wanted you here today was to talk to us about your experience educating people who happen to be a little older than us, and just to know if you had any tips, tricks, victories, losses, insights, good jokes, or words of wisdom to share to add to the conversation. But as a way of introduction, would you mind simply telling people who you are and what you do?
Sure. My name's Sandra Abrams. I'm 63 years old, and I'm a senior citizen, and I live in South Florida, which I call Senior Citizenville. At 63 years old, there are very, very active 75 and older senior citizens, and they call me a baby. It's so crazy. Now, the difference between me and the people who are 75 is that I am keeping up with technologies, with what's going on today and what's happening in the different monetary currencies, what's going on in the different governments. What I have done is over the past 3.5 years created my curriculum to learn and dive very deep in a lot of different subjects: cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, smart contracts, regenerative finances. I'm learning how to code. I've been doing that now for almost 4 months every day. And I just left a 3-day conference. It was an online conference about decentralized physical infrastructure network. I think it's important to really keep up to date. I've got a health ring, which people call their workout ring. For me, senior citizens, if we think about it, the quality of life, we can get so much better with smart contracts, with blockchain technology, and be safe. I am the senior citizen of what not to do in crypto from my experiences, but I can also tell you now what to do. So I'm here just to tell people my experience. I have my book, that's my journals, my first 2 years behind the scenes. And then I have my book that's I call my Cliff Notes, my handbook for newbies of how to do different things, whether it's NFTs, crypto, or being on X. The main thing that I tell everybody is do your research, because as a senior citizen, I am not just gullible, I am wanting to have a secure financial future. So I'm going to believe a lot of things and that aren't really believable in the sense of somebody who has the common sense to understand finances. And the idea of people my age and what we were brought up financially and how we see things is totally different than how things can be safe for you in today's way of doing things. And it's just different. It's not scary. It's just different.
Can you give me a couple of examples, Sandra, from your experience that highlight that difference? Maybe if there's a type of scam you've seen that's prevalent, or a concept that you feel is particularly tricky?
I think that this happens to anybody of any age, but this is a very common scam. Somebody will tell you that you have just won, whether it's $100 in their coins, tokens, or how about, you've got great experience. I want you to come and work for us. Click on this link. This is what I'm talking about. Click on this link. That thing about clicking on a link because you want a job, or because you want free money, or because somebody notices you, that's not real. Click on this link is a gateway to a scam. A lot of people, whether it's, I don't have a lot of these medias, but on Facebook, people will go into what I think they call their community groups and say, hey, we've seen you. You're great. Why don't you come work for us? Or why don't you come and try our product for free? And it's all about something that they can do for you, and you think you're getting something. Well, you're getting scammed.
Yeah.
Wild. We talk a lot about this, though. And this is another disconnect. I don't know, Will, I'm sure you do this. I've seen you make videos. I've seen Alex make videos where we talk about how these are our only profiles. And we always give this disclaimer every time we go live. We say, where we're talking to you from right now, these are our only profiles. We say this everywhere. We say this in Discord. Any platform we're on where we have a presence, we let people know these are the profiles that are legitimate. Anything else is not legitimate. And we also let people know that we will never, ever directly message them first without getting their attention in like a general chat. If I needed to talk to Sandra, I would say, hey, I am going to send you a message. I'm adding you right now as a friend, kind of thing. I'll have already sent it. And if there's any confusion, if somebody else sees that message and tries to, then we can, hash it out or whatever. But I feel like we do a pretty good job.
I've had a large TikTok account for a long time, and I deleted it because of trolls and people impersonating me and saying that I'm giving money to people and stuff. I just deleted it. It had 28,000 followers. I just said, forget it. That's good. I'm fine. I'm okay.
Sandra, over the weekend, actually, Alex sent a screenshot of like the TikTok notifications of his wife's, and it was just different versions of me sending her friend requests, and he's like, bro, calm down, man, this is my wife. Like, it's not me. But yeah, it's nuts. Oh, also, everyone, we will never ask you to connect with us on WhatsApp either.
Yeah,
That's another
WhatsApp
one.
is such a prevalent one. They do all this stuff to get you on their platforms or on their website. And I'm curious, like I feel like we do a good job of messaging that, but how do we bridge the gap? Like it seems as though
Well,
many people still fall for these things.
one thing that senior citizens, like something that I've done, what I get is, I mean, and they look very professional, and it looks like it's from Fidelity, or it may look like it's from Grayscale, some kind of financial institution, that says, you asked or you inquired about this and you didn't. And, you'll click on it and it'll be something about maybe their Decentraland portfolio. And it'll talk about what crypto is. And it'll say, do you want to learn more? You click on that, you're done. So you have to be very aware of what you're looking at. And what I had to learn is go up and click on the email that sent it to you, because that email that sent it to you is the one that you're looking for. That's the scam one. And we don't do that as senior citizens. We just click on it and go, yay, somebody noticed us.
On a similar note too, I'll see like the fake Coinbase emails go out. I get them all the time. I get these, like it says Coinbase on the inbox, and then if you click it and it opens it up, it looks like a legit Coinbase email, except it'll be some weird thing being like, oh hey, there was like some money sent, like click this button to confirm or reject that it was you. But then if you go and you look at the actual email that was sent, it's like some mass jumbling of letters and numbers and stuff, and it's like a Hotmail email, and you're like, no, not today, devil, spam.
Well, I hear even sophisticated users. I heard a story. You mentioned coding, Sandra, about a job interview that was it was a developer. It was a job interview situation, and they were approached by somebody who was offering them a job at a new company, and this person had a few back and forth emails with them and said, before we get to the interview, we'd like to see your GitHub. And we'd also like to know, after that exchange, they said, we'd also like to know if you could just take a look at these, SQL problems, something technical, something that a developer would be asked to do before interviewing for a job at some point in time. But in this case, email exchange, the identity seemed legit. It was not. And all of it was a scam to get them to click a link. This person was a developer who was working at another company. They had inside access to some kind of server. And so when this person, this is how corporate hacks happen a lot. The McDonald's hack that happened last week where somebody hacked their Instagram and tweeted about a meme token probably happened because someone with credentials clicked a bad link. But even people who are supposed to know better, like web developers, are scammed by sophisticated social engineers. So I'm just not sure. We try to actively, that's one of the reasons we're having this conversation, is you say senior citizens especially get overlooked. We want to actively make spaces that are safe for learners at all levels of experience, learners of all ages. And I'm just not sure, aside from being on every platform everywhere, what the best ways to do that are.
Well, I was going to ask too, because there's some very significant new vulnerabilities after this recent data breach and leak. People who have the know-how, it's not that hard. I watched someone demo it over the weekend. It's terrifyingly easy now to pull data from that breach because it was just shared. Social security numbers, birthdays, and names. You can do basically anything with that. So now there's a wave of scam reach outs that aren't asking you for anything because they already have the information, but they often need confirmation from another source. So they'll just ask, hey, does this seem right? And it's just like an innocuous sounding thing to trick you into sending an approval of some sort that you can repurpose and use to feign approval to a whole bunch of other stuff. Because, now with this breach, if you were one of the people who was in that, which spoiler alert, it was a lot of people, they already have the information. They don't even need anything from you.
That's common. That's very common with senior citizens, whether it's reach out by phone or reach out by email to confirm your information. And that happens. It's like I was a part of the Voyager exchange, and something. I mean, 5 digits. I lost 5 digits, and the thing is that, as you said, things are happening very sophisticated, and the one thing that really has helped me more than anything is having trusted people that I can actually go to and say, hey, look, before I do anything, what do you think? Whether it's somebody telling me, download this program for a job, do this for a job, and once you download it, they've got your wallet and all that. The thing is have a circle of trusted people. That's the only way I know it. Besides just doing your own research, you have to reach out for help and have people to help you.
Mm-hmm.
The job one I have had the job one tried on me before, and luckily they didn't do a great job in the selling of it, because it seemed like I was actively looking for work like in this field, which is probably why it popped up as like an easier target. But it was hey, we have XYZ where we'd like to offer you whatever position. I'm like, all right, sweet, let's chat about it, whatever. And I just started. Evan, I remember I was telling you about it while it was happening, just that like, hey, this is going on. Have they reached out to you? Because, whatever, it was just getting more and more suspicious. And it turns out the whole play wasn't to get me to click a link or do whatever. It was to actually pretend to hire me just long enough to get direct deposit information and hopefully be able to do something with, I think they just wanted the bank account numbers. Like for direct deposit. I'm like, okay, well, this is already getting really suspicious. So, I had kind of tapped out before then, and then I just sort of like let it keep going along and along just to collect screenshots and, more see what else I could like learn from the whole thing to avoid. It was pretty messy, but I was like, this is obviously like also a thing that has been tried before and probably worked. I'm sure I wasn't the first person to get attempted with this thing, but yeah, I don't know, it's crazy how harebrained some of these things sound. They're just a plague.
Yeah, I think also for me, it was like, oh wow, somebody gave me a free NFT in my wallet. Oh wow, this community is so great. They're DMing me on Twitter, different things that would make you feel like, wow, you're special, you're being noticed, or you're getting something as a prize. Something that makes you feel that warm, fuzzy feeling. So you don't think and you don't get rational. That's why I say have somebody as a trusted person, because those are a lot of the things that happen. You want the job. Yes, you can easily do the program that they're asking you to do when you download it. There's different things. You want to feel good. That's how they get you,
Then how, so aside from education and, being real clear and saying it again and again, it sounds like a good solution is just to make sure that people who are in proximity to us, who are hanging out with us, learning with us, that they really do feel valued and engaged. And that's sometimes hard to do when we're online first. So do you have any recommendations for that? Is it a free NFT that at once is a little fun, little happy, and also can teach them how to recognize the distinction between this is really from us and this one is not, or other suggestions, or suggestions for platforms? We, like I said, we made a tough decision to be primarily in Discord, but we have created a Facebook page. We have thought and talked about, the issue of scaling it, but if that's where a lot of senior citizens, for example, are. Maybe we need to do more to keep that active. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I personally, with my experiences of reaching out, were very unfortunate, I should say. I don't have a Facebook. I am on more of decentralized or quasi-decentralized medias now.
Yeah.
And, they are quasi, they are.
I think you're on more decentralized social media apps than even myself.
Yeah. Sandra's a pioneer.
You've done a far better job here than even me.
Somebody told me I was an early adopter, and I thought that was like a bad thing until I looked up what it was. I was on Farcaster before they even had channels, and now I don't know anything about Farcaster, kind of thing, you know. But the thing is when it comes to being safe, I personally have really looked at where I am actively social media wise, because some of these people I did meet first on social media. I have met some like you. I've met you in real life. I've met other people in real life. I really do think having trusted people is very important. It's going to be easier to scam. It's going to be easier to make it look professional when it comes to the different technologies that are happening now. When it comes to the AI, the GPTs, and how people are able to scam in ways that are very sophisticated. So it's very important. You say platforms. If you're wanting to reach out and you see your target audience at a particular platform, then be on that platform. Right now, I'm not even looking for an audience anymore. I'm just sharing me, and I'm just being me. I'm just doing me. For the last year, I've been diving deep into my curriculum more so. I went to the Bitcoin conference, really into DeepIn and a lot of other things. Real world case scenario, I think, is where it's at right now. What you can do with blockchain in real world, I think that's going to help when it comes to scams, because there is going to be a product at the end. There is going to be a utility, a benefit, and that's going to help senior citizens a lot, because you're going to be going for healthcare, HOA stuff, different things that are going to be on chain that can be verified. So look at that when you talk about your target audience, what they are interested in, where they are looking, what they are going for, and be where they are. Yeah.
I do have a question, which is, obviously you are well down your path of education and have been for quite some time around just technology as a whole, but also the crypto blockchain space and really getting involved. But for somebody who's, they don't even have to be over the age of 50, but, if your answer changes for people who are older than 50 and younger than 50, I'd love to hear it. How do you think people should get started in their educational journey based on your own experience? For either younger people, older people, if that answer changes, I'm curious to hear.
Okay, I didn't understand the words coming out of your mouth. So I started with vocabulary for 5 minutes a day. I found Ledger Academy. I found Coinbase, they have an academy. I found a lot of very reliable sources that I could look at. YouTube, there were people, you know what I mean? I found sources to do my research, and that's how I found trusted people. People will find you. I mean, you can, as you three gentlemen, I'm sure there's people of a lot of ages. I know people in their 20s that I work with that know nothing of this kind of stuff. But their social medias, they're starting to see it on their social media. So they're starting to ask questions.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's excellent. We do have a glossary sort of post, and we have a lot of glossary type videos. But something that we've kicked around for a while that I think is a clearly needed product is a glossary ebook. An easy to get, free download, make it everywhere everyone is, post whatever that people can find that we can reference them to that will have something.
That's why I liked Ledger Academy, because they have a glossary.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, when I came back to TikTok and I'm doing this Onboard 60 account, when you scroll through my profile, go all the way down, and a lot of the videos, there are actual definitions from Ledger Academy. You know, so people can actually look at it and see the fact, this is exactly what a meme coin is. This is what Bitcoin is. This is what FOMO is. So they don't have any questions of somebody telling them their opinion.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to give. I know you're just about up against your time, and I wanted to defer the last question to Alex because he was kind of the spark for this conversation. But Will, I'm glad to pass it to you. I'd be curious to know about what you think about trusted people because I think that's a problem. I think
Yeah,
Go ahead.
no, yeah. What I was going to ask is, you mentioned, you've had the opportunity to meet some people in person, but obviously with this space being so international and so much so online and social media, as with everything is, are there some other things that you think that are things that people should do in order to verify if like the person they're listening to should be trusted? Do you have certain things that you like to hear, listen, or see from people that you're going, okay, maybe this is somebody I should listen to, and then also the opposite, maybe somebody I should not be listening to?
I Google people. I ask other people about people. I actually, and Evan knows this about me. I mean, I will DM a CEO. I do not care, and I will do what I need to do to be safe. And it's very important because a lot of people, what you see on some of like Instagram, especially, some of the people on TikTok, what you're seeing is a performance. You're not seeing the real thing. So you have to discern it by actually doing your research on the people that you're listening to.
I gotcha. No, good answer. Yeah, if you can do like as much of a possible general background check on people and the organization they represent. Sometimes a quick Google search will just be like, and they stole millions from people. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad I did this quick Google search for 10 seconds. Yeah, you can start to filter out a lot.
Yeah, and some people look very legit on Google. Alex, I had asked Alex, that was the thing you kind of brought into this conversation was people maybe trust us as folks on the internet too much.
Yeah, it's a problem. I've been in multiple scenarios where I know for sure, had I wanted to, I could have easily manipulated somebody out of money just because of my reputation and who I am. So the second you decide to flip, that's why it's so sketchy, because I don't even really have a great answer for it. It's just kind of one of the reasons I was excited to talk to you about this, Sandra, and I think we've gotten a lot of really good stuff from this, but it's just really tough because you don't want to just say blanket, like, hey, anyone who ever offers to help you is trying to steal from you. But especially in this space, odds are that is the case, which is sad. I guess that's just kind of where I'm at. It just sucks. And I don't have a fantastic answer for like the best ways to avoid it other than just, don't trust anybody.
You have to, you have to look through their social medias. Like if somebody, I have people come into my DMs and talk to me about what meme coin or what cryptocurrency am I invested in. And you know those people. And so I will go through their profile and I will, see if they're on YouTube and see how many followers I have and really investigate the person, because 9 out of 10 times you are totally right. And it's going to get worse because more people are going to come. They think there's going to be fast money. And that's why I say, look at these gentlemen here right now. These are the gentlemen that are actually taking the time not only to learn what's happening, but to be safe about it and to share it in a safe manner. That's the only reason why I even came here is because I trust these guys. So, yeah.
I really appreciate it.
And I got to get on the train. I got to get to Fort Lauderdale.
I know you do. Listen, welcome to the show. Come back anytime. We really appreciate it. Last thing, where can people find you online? Here?
I am Onboard 60 on Twitter or X, Onboard 60 on TikTok, and if you are on Lens, Noster, if you're on the Social World, Farcaster, I am Sababa or I am Sababa Lens.
Cool.
And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you again so much, Sandra, for your time. Have a great day. And we will talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a great day, guys. And trust these gentlemen. Trust these guys. Bye.
I would say don't trust us. Verify. You know what I'm saying?
No, trust me.
Don't trust me.
Blindly. I need to get to the Pokemon cards. Give me a man.
Right, exactly. Could you imagine how much money to that point, we could make with our perfectly spoken and written English if we just wanted to scam a bunch of people like, hello, it is in fact me. You know what I mean?
We keep saying we're really going about this the wrong way. If we were just willing to do some crime, then this could be a very profitable business enterprise.
I'd love to do some crime.
Let's start doing crime.
Just have to do some crime.
Onboard 60. Was that her TikTok?
Onboard 60. Yeah, and she used to have many more videos on that profile. It was like she said, she had almost 30,000 followers because she was talking about this all the time. And then deleted TikTok after, frustration with the experience, the scammers, the prevalence of that kind of thing. But now has come back. Sandra has a newsletter that's great. She, is exploring many different frontiers.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Super awesome. So definitely worth a follow. We'll definitely have her back. And I'm glad I see we have some audience questions to transition from this topic, but I did want to say one last thing on this point, which is I'm currently drafting and will post in our Discord an example of a particularly notorious scammer who is wreaking havoc in our server, like at this moment right now. And I'm not sure if I can show you this while I'm live very well, but I just want to give you an idea of how increasingly sophisticated these people are. This is a Discord profile, and it looks just like mine. This appears to be my username, but if you look really closely, you'll see that this with Evan is an L. This is a scammer, and the kind of outreach that they've done is so deep. This is our good friend Joe. If you're in the audience, hi Joe. He sent me these screenshots to show you the kind of conversations they have. It's a long conversation. I have like 8 different screenshots of the outreach process, of the trust building process, and all the way up to the ask. This particular scammer is trying to get my friend Joe and lots of folks in our Discord right now to click a link for a trading platform that they claim will allow them to passively earn profit by copying the trades that are supposed to be mine. And this person is not in our Discord server. This is somebody who has either got a fake profile that is just, trying to stay under the radar, or they're getting inside information, from somebody who's there so that they can target you, members in our community, directly. The best thing to do to combat these scammers is to, 1, turn your DMs off, to remember that we are never going to DM you without personally addressing you in a public place first. And then when we do DM you, the best way to check that it's our legitimate profile in our Discord server is to use the information in official links, a channel in our table of contents, to check our user IDs, which, like an NFT, cannot be forged, faked, or duplicated. They are unique, provable. And unlike a username, they don't fool you, it won't be conversations with Evan. Is that the real guy? It'll be user 12345 versus user 6789110. You'll know that it's not us. We have tutorials for how to do all that stuff, and we want to help you by answering your questions, because I know it's confusing to hear it just once, because these scammers are getting good. You can avoid scams. We want to help you. You don't have to trust us. We will give you the tools to verify. But let's keep this conversation going. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely put a big star by glossary. I think we can make that as one of those maybe cool napkin ebooks. I can jump on that for sure.
That's a great next action item. And also, I need to go check out the Ledger Academy because it sounds really good.
Yeah, I honestly sleep on it. Coinbase Learn sponsor the show, but apparently maybe Ledger Academy should too.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go check that out. I'm gonna share it with people because if she found it to be a great tool, the demographic of our audience is older than most crypto people, so than other crypto audiences. So that'd be great. Also, it'd be great for me just to share that. Yeah, I don't know why Coinbase doesn't have something like that too. Maybe they do. We just don't know about it.
Yeah, Bean said it. Crypto for Dummies, has it been written yet? I don't know. Not that we're dummies, but what a great book series. Let's dumb it down, make it easy, help people understand what's really going on,
Although it would be really funny if the Crypto for Dummies book came out like 4 years ago, and then the coins they mentioned in them are all totally in the dumpster now. It's like Dash and I don't know, Terra Luna and Well, what are some of the other questions that were in chat that were flowing through?
So we did have a request for the link to Ledger Academy. Since Sandra mentioned it, I'm going to drop that first. It is ledger.com/academy. Like, so easy. Thank you, Ledger. Ledger.com/academy. We'll have a glossary. I pulled it up over here. It's got some click-through lessons. Many of them are illustrated. They break down terms and they show you how to get involved buying, selling, trading, or just experimenting with cryptocurrency. And the other one, of course, is coinbase.com/learn. Ledger.com/academy, coinbase.com/learn. I'm going to make sure to put both of them in this week's newsletter. That was the first question. And then some of the other questions that we have are... Go ahead, Alex. You have one pulled up?
Yep, there was a good one just about, especially with this newest data breach, like, what should you do if you find out that, like, what's that?
The Social Security one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, what can you do if you find out that your data was compromised in any capacity, whether it's your Social Security number or something else? If you guys are in the general, I'll put a checklist in general chat. Right. Hold on. Right here. There we go. Just about, these are honestly good steps for anyone to take, but especially if you find out that something like your Social Security number was compromised. Here it goes. It's just really good. Sorry. This is just not
I love the the vocal phenomenon of searching for information. So you slow down your rate of speech to like end the sentence when you're ready.
It took me a minute. We got it. I was trying to say it's just a really good list of like things that you should do regardless, especially if your shit's been stolen. But for some reason, copy with the hypertext was not working. So anyway, there we go. But marked up and posted in the general. But just to go over a couple of these points as we're all sitting here, in case you guys are not just staring at Discord, shame on you. You can place fraud alerts on pretty much anything nowadays, especially credit reports. So any of the big major credit bureaus, you can let them know that you're concerned and you want to just place a fraud alert on any of your stuff. You can usually freeze those things too.
Yeah, so I actually did it recently for this reason
as well.
Okay, so Evan, I'll skip that and you can talk about what you did. I've never done it. Obviously, just keeping a close eye on stuff, like that's just all. I make sure that I check anything that has to do with any of my financials every single day, whether it's my Schwab brokerage account or my savings and checking account or whatever. I look every single day. My American Express, like dashboard, I look at every single charge, and if I ever don't recognize one, because sometimes gas stations mark up as really weird looking things, they don't like write the name of the gas station, it like traces back to something else. I call and follow up on a lot of those, especially if I don't know what it is. Any weird amounts, I keep very diligent track of how much I spent where, so that if an amount that I don't remember paying for anything pops up on my bank account, I know like, okay, well, I didn't do that. And then if it wasn't Christina, then okay, well, there's no one else that should be making a transaction, so something went wrong. I don't know how I've made it this far in my life without ever having a single, because I have definitely not been super careful all the time. Like I recycle passwords on occasion and shit like that, and I'm amazed that I've gotten this far. But I attribute that to being hyper paranoid every time I check, and if anything has ever looked odd or whatever, I'll chase it until I know exactly what it is. You can also pay for services. I don't know any off the top of my head, but you can pay for like monitoring services for stuff. It's one of those things I would prefer to do myself, but if you don't want to, then there is, of course, something you can pay for to make it happen. Filing your taxes, just like on time. I don't do that at all. I've extended every year for the past 3 years.
How does that work, actually? Because I've never done it, because I'm always just like worried there's some penalty. Is there a penalty for extending?
No, I mean, but I'm also very spoiled. I just text my accountant and say, hey, I'm not done. Can you extend? And he's like, yep, you're good.
Yeah. I don't know what you use. Yeah, right, exactly. Do you use an accountant or you use a software? Because if you use a software, it'll have like an option. You just Google, I don't know, like TurboTax or whatever, extend taxes, and you'll find the step by step. If it's your accountant, you just call it.
Yeah, but you absolutely have the right to, and there is no penalty for doing it. You can do it every single year. I do it every year. I would rather not do it every year, but I'm just lazy and bad. Anyway, then it's just, keeping super informed, just making sure that you're tracking and following all of this kind of stuff. Any opportunity that you have to add more layers of security to things, whether it's just like making sure you have 2FA turned on to everything. If you have the option to use passkey for something, to do that, make sure your passwords aren't a shit. True story, I was doing consulting work for a company that is doing, I'm not exaggerating, it's a friend of mine's like startup business that he and his wife do. And they are like 2 years in and they've made millions. It's a real estate related thing. And they were letting me into like a couple different accounts and stuff so that I could help with social media. So we were just like logging into, the Facebook, whatever. But like as a company, as we just saw with McDonald's, your social media is extremely valuable and it needs to be protected. It's not superfluous. Like you cannot underestimate the amount of damage that can be done if a corporate or a company's social media page gets hijacked. Which is why I don't like things on social media. I don't trust anything on social media because you never know. But anyway, they sent me like the list of passwords and I looked at them and I looked at them and I looked at these passwords and I looked back at them and I looked at the passwords and I was like, have you guys seen Spaceballs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The ship.
Yeah, it was, dude, these passwords were atrocious. They were literally like their last name, 1, 2, 3. And I was like, okay, item number 1, before anything else happens, we are changing all of these. Okay, these are atrocious. And it was like the same password for Squarespace, for GoDaddy, for all of the social media profiles. And I was like, please tell me that you have something else on your bank. And they're like, yep. And I was like, listen, change everything. You psychos. Oh, God, it's terrifying. Still, and they're young. They're like young people that have I was in the military with this guy. He knows better.
Real quick PSA too, for somebody who's filing their taxes, the deadline is a thing that you can extend. But if you owe a tax debt, that is due April, whatever. To be clear, you cannot extend any amount you owe. So Will, if you want to extend like the paperwork, that's the October thing. But if you owe money in your taxes, that is due in April. So to determine if you owe or not, it's like if you have a year where you just know you're not going to owe money, you go ahead and extend it. Or, if you think you're going to owe, but you're not sure, then you send them some money, extend it, and then maybe you get some money back.
Okay.
But that was a really good clarifying point by Monkey.
Here's a last little tidbit,
Yep.
Evan, just on that.
Please.
Tax debt. So I got this letter.
Yeah, I was like,
I got this letter. I got it in the mail several times. And it was just very strange, but it has my and my wife's full name on it. It has the last 4 of my social on it. I still don't know if this is real. I genuinely don't. All I know is that they stopped contacting me after I ignored them at the advice of my accountant. But I don't know. I might like try to follow up. I tried to like make an account and go online and like do the thing like on the .gov, and it didn't really work. Anyway, it looks like something from the IRS. It just came that was just like, hey, you owe X. Like you didn't pay taxes appropriately. And I was like, okay, first of all, yikes. So it's just like an updated assessment. But it wasn't asking me for anything. It just like, you need to go to the .gov and like sign in and do this thing and fix this. And I was like, okay, that sounds sus. And I sent it to my accountant and he was like, yeah, just ignore it. They're sending out, like I've heard from hundreds of people who are getting these things. They don't mean anything. It's just bullshit.
I got the same letter in the mail, the same thing. And I saw it and immediately just crumpled it up and threw it away because I pay for an extra service where my accountant will have, if there's any questions from the IRS, they go directly to my accountant and not to me.
Yeah.
And I'm just
Yep.
like, oh, cool. Nope, trash, garbage. I'm like, but yeah, like it's going to the topic of like, it can very well be worth paying for extra services to just give you an extra barrier against
Yep.
these things. Just be like, okay, cool. If it's a problem, they'll let me know again later.
That's exactly why I was like initially concerned. I was like, why am I getting this? Like, I haven't been the one who's like filed my taxes in years. This doesn't make any sense. Why would I be getting this? But of course, it's got the last four of my social on it and our full names, address, like everything. So I was like, okay, well, this is sketchy as hell. But, you know, I'm sure that tons of people know my social, which is
Tons of people. You alluded to this and a couple people asked, so I just wanted to pepper it in. If you're concerned about the data breach or any data breach and you need to put yourself on one of those lists like Alex is talking about, he's got it in the Discord. But the process, when you call one of those agencies or, you know, follow the instructions at identitytheft.gov, it can be done pretty quickly via phone. A lot of it is automated. So if you're a person who has a hard time with automated phone systems, it may be a little frustrating for you, but I found it to be fairly straightforward. Like there were not a lot of prompts I had to listen to. I didn't have to say a lot of things or press a lot of buttons. And you have the option to place your accounts under like a you know secured status where basically anybody who needs to use your information for anything has to jump through a few extra hoops. And you, if you are applying for a new bank account or a new whatever, have to jump through a few extra hoops. Since putting my name on a, you know, like watch list, I have not had to apply for anything new like that. I suspect it would be the same as like, you know, upgrading my easy password to a difficult one or using a second method of authentication. You know, when they call me, they're going to also send me an email or something like that. When I come in person, I'm going to have to bring my driver's license and my social, or I don't know, or maybe I will just have to do stuff in person more. The trade-off for security is usually convenience, but I found the process of reporting my concern and, you know, getting myself on a, you know, double checklist it took me less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it took me about 15 minutes to go and freeze my credit across the three major credit bureaus. Those are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. If you just type into Google, hey, who are the three biggest credit companies, they'll come up. I didn't have accounts with them. I had to make an account, and then the freeze button was obvious on two of them. TransUnion, I really had to like scroll around to like the customer support to find the freeze button, but still took me about 15 minutes to make an account on all three, freeze my credit, and then if I ever need to use my credit or to get like a loan or whatever, you just unfreeze it, then tell the lender or bank, or the credit card company, whoever, to then go ahead with the credit check, and then you freeze it again.
We had a really good question that's in this line of thinking. Aaliyah asked this and some other folks. Is there a password protector that we recommend that's safe? My understanding is that there are several that are sufficiently safe. I personally use Nord. I don't know. Do you use one, Will?
I do not. I probably should, but I'm one of those people who gets sometimes a little lazy with the passwords.
Oh my God, we're letting people know so much information about us right now. Don't hack us because we are just doing this for our performance purposes. Our accounts are like Fort Knox. Don't even try.
The thing is, they're not that lazy. You can't just put my name in 1, 2, 3 and it's gonna work. You gotta get a little creative. But
you gotta add his favorite Pokemon, right? Alex, same thing. I'm sure there are other password protectors like LastPass, Keeper. I think that generally speaking, these are sufficiently good. Same thing for VPNs, which stands for Very Private Network. It creates a layer of security between where you are accessing the internet and what someone sees if they are monitoring the traffic. Every computer, every device has a unique what's called IP address so that somebody online can learn a lot of information about you. And this VPNs just insulate that. The problem I know a lot of tech people have with VPNs and password managers is that many of them are centralized. A lot of them are owned by one parent company. You know, the way that Verizon has all your cell phone traffic, I can't remember what the company is called. It owns most of these big VPN password protected providers. And if there is a breach there, just like there was here at this, company that's got everyone's social security number, then all your information is public. This is a great solution for blockchain and something that we know there are people working to solve right now. But in the meantime, I don't know about you, Will. I would say a password protector is probably better than not having a password protector.
Yeah, probably not. Although I can't really speak to it because I haven't used them, but
Sure.
It's good. It's just we're all just so vulnerable online that if you can do even the slightest of things, you're in a better spot.
Okay, so we've got some really good comments in the chat, but I need to halt the comments in the chat to ask you a more important question, which is Alex jumped down and now he's trying to jump back up. Should I let him in?
Only if he gives us his password.
I'm going to hold Alex ransom for all his passwords. OMFG, he says. I'm just kidding, Alex. Here he comes. Pull. Welcome back.
Apparently, if you swipe to something else, I don't know. I figured it would just do the thing where it pauses me, and then I guess it fired me.
Alex, what the hell else are you trying to watch while the Rise Up Morning Show is on air?
I know.
Are you not entertained?
And we could have used it to have leveraged access to his Destiny login passwords for whatever account that is, that website that logs into, so that when he gets new achievements, we get mailed those cool little things he likes to show.
Exactly. Yeah. Get in there and steal my raid badges.
So do you have thoughts on that last bit of conversation, Alex?
Only just to make fun of you for saying that VPN stands for very private network, you nitwit.
Virtual private network?
Yes. Very private. That was a good one, though.
Very private.
Very
sorry.
Super duper private network.
A little redundant, but kind of catchy, Okay,
Stay tuned for VPN 2. Very fucking private network.
Okay, so listen, to segue away from this roast, if you enjoyed today's conversation about scams and schemes, we can certainly keep this going. We had a couple other questions I want to get to. We will put this on YouTube. I am in the process right now of clicking send on posting our episodes from last week, as well as our After Dark episode. Thank you, Will, for hosting the first After Dark threesome. Am I allowed to say that on air? You're definitely allowed to watch it. It is appropriate for all families and friends, and we would love for you to give it a look and then join us again. We're going to do it again this Thursday, right, guys? Yeah?
Yeah, this Thursday.
After Dark, we were doing a bunch of fast and dirty research on tokens that you submitted. I still have to catch up with a couple of Discord posts because there were people who asked some questions about other tokens. But we got through a lot. We gave some grades. We shared why we had or didn't have conviction in this or that token, and had some beverages, and it was fun. And the lights were on because it was dark. So join us. The only thing missing, that's you. That will be on YouTube, as will this conversation, so that you can share it with your friends, family, people who are concerned about security and need a little help getting started. Another question we had in the chat that is related in terms of helpful information for beginners that I'd love for you guys to just answer from a quick technical perspective is, how do I sell a cryptocurrency token generally, turn it back into dollars that I could buy groceries with, and how do I take profits? Question we get a lot. Would love to hear what you think.
Yeah, and I saw those questions that she was asking about. I think it was Ritika, I think her name was. But,
That's right.
Yeah, and she was talking about meme coins specifically. So if you're talking meme coins, you're probably in a decentralized exchange. You're probably doing some swaps in your wallet, right? And there's not like an immediate off-ramp into cash. All right, that's most likely the scenario. Otherwise, if you're on like a Coinbase or a Binance, it's pretty easy. Sell into cash and then send the cash to your bank account, right? The account that you have linked. But if you're on, let's say you're on Solana, you have your Phantom wallet, you're playing around with the Popcats of the world, you're playing around with the other meme coins of the world that may not be listed on the centralized exchange that you use, like a Coinbase, for example. So what you would need to do is you would need to convert your Popcat into a coin that is available on a centralized cryptocurrency exchange. That could be Solana, or it could be the Solana version of USDC stablecoin, right? So once you take your Popcat, sell it into your Solana, send that to your Solana wallet address in Coinbase. And that's very important because you can if you send it to your Ethereum wallet address on Coinbase, your Bitcoin wallet address on Coinbase, it's gone. It's just gone. Like you messed up, you made a mistake, it's gone. So send it Solana from your Phantom wallet or Solana USDC to your Solana wallet address or your Solana USDC wallet address on Coinbase. And then you can sell it into cash. And then, if your bank account's not linked, make an account, link your bank account, and then send money back into your bank account. That's how it works. Okay.
I mean,
yeah, there's a lot. It sounds like a lot of steps. The shortest way to think about it is that on whatever platform you're doing your trading, whether you're trading just on a centralized exchange, like on your Coinbase account or something, in which case you can eliminate a few of these steps, or you're trading through the use of a hot wallet on some random decentralized exchange. I have yet to encounter a single place where you can trade crypto that you cannot get either USDT or USDC. So the easiest way to secure a profit in anything is just to turn it into stablecoins. And the only time you're going to find that to be not possible is usually with these like really brand new meme coins that just don't have a pair.
They don't have a pair or don't have liquidity, right?
Or both, yes. But they don't always even have a listed pair. It's not even a thing that a pool even exists for, let alone one with enough liquidity to support your trade. So like if a random crypto, launches on pump.fun, it's launching, on Solana with a Sol pair, but it doesn't have a stablecoin pair. So you would need to turn it back, like Will said, into Sol first. And then Sol always has a stocked liquidity pool with USDC or USDT.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, I just have a question about liquidity pools.
No problem. I saw it in the comments and figured, boy, this is probably going to be a lot easier to talk about than it is to type about.
Yeah. Well, I've never bought into a liquidity pool, and I always wondered how those things worked. Honestly, I didn't know. So that's how. So they offer an API, and people put money into it, and that's how they have liquidity. Is that correct? I guess.
Yes, and this is just a forewarning. This is kind of a level 2 topic. So we might have some jargon. If there's something you guys don't understand in the comments, let us know. We'll try and break this down real simple. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just checking out Radium, and they had some at 700% APR, and I saw a bunch of them for 100% APR, and 80%, and some of them were 1,000% APR. I was, wow, let's throw $100 in there, and in 1 year I'll have $1,000. Is that the way it works? That's better than buying a meme coin. Forget the meme coins. I'm ready to throw some money into a liquidity pool.
In a perfect world, that is how it works.
Yeah.
Is that how it works? Well, you got $1,000 with a $100 investment.
Hypothetically, yes, but Alex, do you want to go?
I was just going to say those things. They are what could be best described as a house of cards.
Okay.
So technically, yes, you are correct. However, you have to watch those things like a hawk, and the higher the APR, the more likely it is to crumble and fail.
So if the coin crashes, then you don't get your money. Is that?
Yeah. So
there are many ways to lose your money. Yes.
Like I saw one.
There are several ways to lose your money. Yes, but one of the really risky ones with those super sketchy things is a phenomenon called impermanent loss, which is I'm trying to make this less jargony, which is a good exercise. But essentially, when you provide liquidity in a pool, you have to match both sides. You can't just provide liquidity in one of the tokens because the liquidity pool has to have, let's just use Solana as an example and, a meme. So you have Sol and you have the meme, and you want to put $100 worth of both of them into this pool to provide liquidity. Well, Solana is a volatile asset, but this meme is way more volatile. And the meme is going to be constantly...
One of them listed for the 1,000% was cat dog meme coin. So yeah.
Yeah. So hyper volatile, especially not just compared to the dollar, but compared to Solana as well. So it's unlikely that the price of Solana is going to change by 100% in a day. Is it possible? Of course it is, but it's much more unlikely. And the meme is going to be hopping up and down all over the place. So as the meme is hopping up and down all over the place, your stake, your provided liquidity in both of those tokens is going to be changing the ratio from one to the other, which means that you need to be adjusting the amount that you have in this pool up or down to keep those level. So there's a lot of maintenance attached to providing liquidity, especially in something as volatile as these memes. And if you don't do that, then you can suffer what is known as impermanent loss. I mean, honestly, the more you do it, you're still kind of eating into your own profits, or you can lose money just as fast as you can make it.
Well, I lost lots of money on meme coins. What the heck? I might as well throw $100 into one of these and try it out.
I would honestly say that if you have that attitude that you're prepared to lose it, it's a very good exercise to learn. It's one of those really key essential skills in the crypto space, especially in DeFi, providing liquidity. And you can definitely provide liquidity with less risky things. Like when I was learning how to do it, I just stuck to Uni and ETH because it was huge pools. There were tons of people in there. There was all kinds of adjustment happening already. And the price of Uni compared to ETH was a lot more stable than any of the super sketchy memes. Sure, the APR was lower, but it was still quite good, and that was worth it to me. So I cut my teeth that way. But if I was going to be messing with the sketchy ones,
I really don't want to lose any more money. But I was just sort of saying that.
Yeah.
A good
Sometimes I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say a good general rule of thumb when looking at liquidity pools is if something seems too good to be true, odds are it is. So if you find a liquidity pool, maybe it could be I'm just going to pick a random pairing, Jupiter to USDC in Solana. So Jupiter and then a stable coin, or Solana to a stable coin. It'll give you your 7%, your 6%, maybe a 10%, right? A much more realistic APR.
Right.
If you get that, you're okay, cool, this is more stable, this is safer, I'm not going to have to provide as much maintenance, And if you see the 1,000%, the reason why they offer that is partly because the liquidity in liquidity pool is super small, and they want to incentivize people to put money in to make it bigger. And so as it becomes bigger, even if you're managing that, the APY would drop from 1,000 to potentially down to 20 or 10% if the liquidity pool got big enough. So your reward goes down as the liquidity pool gets bigger.
Yeah, that's not a fixed rate.
Yeah, and it's not a fixed rate. And then you're managing the risk of impermanent loss and all these things just to have your percentage come down. And then, the cost that Alex mentions of you having to continuously put money in to balance that, but then the APY is coming down. So it really eats at your ability to make money.
Mm-hmm. And there's a really good comment here that clarifies that most of the time, not only for these high APY pools is there a low liquidity factor, they're offering a high percentage because they need more liquidity. But this is often something that is very common on an exchange where the token itself is very young and very new. You might see a new DeFi exchange pop up. Let's call it Evan Swap. And there's an Evan token. And I want everyone to start using my decentralized exchange because it's the newest, hottest thing. The first thing I'm going to do is create demand for the Evan token, because the Evan token is what I hold and use to buy Bitcoin, to buy Ethereum, to buy Solana, to cover all the buys and sells that happen on my platform. This is how Uniswap and the Uni token work. This is how Pancake Swap and the Cake token work. These tokens provide all the liquidity for the platform. So first and foremost, if you're a decentralized exchange, you got to sell that token. So you put a high APY on it, and it costs you nothing. You got all these tokens in your wallet. You can send them to people all day long. You're going to give me SOL? No problem. Here's 100 tokens. I'll give you 100 a month if you just keep giving me that SOL so that I can do DeFi stuff with it. As the APY goes down, though, you're also realizing a risk that the price of my DEX token is going to be really volatile. And usually what happens over time, if you look at historical examples from the last few years, is these platforms will have a native token like the Cake token that will go up in price because people want to stake it in order to get that APY. it will hit a sort of peak where the people who got in early start to take their profits, and the price of that token goes like this. And then the APY will go higher and higher and higher because they're like, guys, buy our token. But the increasing APY cannot keep up with the sell pressure and the decreasing price. And usually these charts look like a big spike and then a trail off. And mostly these tokens, once they're gone, they never come back. There are many people who have seen this happen and make their money by doing single pool staking. They'll find new DeFi protocols, buy their token, and stake it. They'll get in early and be the person who sells to everyone else. This is highly risky. You have to be paid.
Have you guys done liquidity pools? Have you bought into them?
Yes, absolutely. And I would say for anybody who wants to get started, not just use a stable pair, but I would also recommend generally researching a concept called staking, which is providing liquidity in the form of one single asset. Liquidity pools refers to you give two assets, and you're making a bet that, like Alex said, the assets will stay in relation to each other and in relation to the dollar relatively constant. But when you are just staking, you're only doing one asset. I might, for example, buy Cake token on PancakeSwap or Uniswap token, Uni, and then stake it, meaning put it in a pool, and they will pay me interest. The only thing I have to worry about in that pool is that they'll reduce the APY over time, or that the price of my Uniswap token might go down. This is a worry because let's say there's often in staking, there's a lockup period where you can't withdraw your money for 7 or 10 or 30 days without a penalty or at all.
Oh yeah, I actually did some staking with Solana at one time. Yeah.
Okay, so that's the first step is staking, which is single asset lending. The second step would be maybe learning how to do a liquidity pool, which is where your two assets get sent to the pool and you get a token that represents them together back. There are also often lockup periods, fees. I don't know what else you guys would say in terms of what steps you might put in the middle, or what other warnings somebody should, what should somebody do before they do that? That would kind of be my suggestion.
Thought I'd show you my face too.
Yeah, and thank you for that. We love seeing friendly mugs here on the show.
Oh, sometimes I have a goatee, but I shaved it off.
No, man, look, it's smooth.
Okay. Well, thanks for answering.
Would you guys recommend any intermediary steps or additional steps? And in terms of explaining this to people who are still at the starting line and trying to wrap their heads around APRs and APYs, did we do a good job? Do you think anything else?
Yeah, no, I'm a guy in my 50s. I lost a lot of money on meme coins, and honestly, I don't want to lose any more money. And sometimes I've thought about just quitting crypto and just buying some stocks, and I don't know. I've learned a lot about crypto over the last year or so since I've been in crypto. But yeah, I've definitely lost money. I don't like losing more money.
That was me and almost all of us as we first got into the space. I lost money. I think we all lost money. But the important thing too is, like, I always tell people, like, if you're unsure about an asset, or like you don't really understand it, you don't need to throw your keep dropping things. You don't need to like throw your money into it. If you can go and invest in things you're familiar with and comfortable with, like stocks, and then take time to learn about crypto. Take some time to learn.
I lucked up and made a 25x on a meme coin this week, and now it's crashing.
Yeah,
it was called Soul. It was a ETF. I think it was a fake ETF for Solana, but I made about a 20x on it. So after I took my money out, it started crashing. So.
Well, hey, congrats on the 20x.
Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And thanks for the question. We really appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.
Take care.
No worries.
Good question.
Yeah,
good talking.
I can write some bullets down and post another one of these kind of little like write-up overviews of providing liquidity. It's definitely like, I don't know, I'm a big fan of DeFi is one of the narratives in crypto that just makes the most sense to me. We've talked about this before. So I think it's definitely a skill that is worth exploring. Mm-hmm. When you talk about like, the tuition that you pay to learn crypto, I think that annoyingly, lots of people will say that the tuition you pay is losing a shitload of money when you over leverage on a scam. I don't think that's a tuition that you necessarily need to pay. But I think that one that is worth paying is like gas to practice moving money around. So, setting yourself a limit to spend some money on transactions to move some stuff from wallet to wallet and exchange to exchange and kind of experience that. That part's getting easier. Like Will mentioned, if you send, like your Sol-based USDC to an ETH address, it can just get lost. Right now, at this point, most wallets have protections built in to where
they do? I actually didn't know that. I'm still so paranoid.
Yeah, no, they do. You can go in right now to MetaMask or Phantom and try to enter the wrong kind of address in when you're trying to submit a transaction, and it will flag that it's the wrong kind for you. Coinbase or Kraken or Onboard, they will just straight up not even let you try. Like they will just, hey, you can't even enter that. Like the second you write a 0x into a Sol address box, the whole box just turns red and it goes, this is not, and the submit button disappears. You literally cannot submit an incorrect address like that anymore. So it's definitely worth double checking, but many wallets at this point have at least some layer of protection built in. Because back in the day, exactly like Will said, you just send it off into the ether and you hope for the best. And sometimes it takes 5 minutes. And this was another really good point, actually, that my mom brought up the other day. She was moving something from Coinbase to her ledger. And, one of them took a couple minutes to go through and another one took like an hour and a half. And was just like curious as to why. And that's a good, it's kind of a little bit off the topic, I guess, but it's sort of on that same subject of like sending and receiving. But I think that those are worthwhile, like taxes to pay or tuitions to pay. Losing some money in a liquidity pool to figure out how that works, or spending a little bit to try it, and then sending money back and forth, just between wallets and getting used to what that looks like to submit a transaction between two things that you are in complete control of.
Well, and some people may never know that fear. TRB is pointing out that Coinbase now, one of their features is they give you a time window, like this will clear in 4 minutes. And that's another good reason why, even if we do have those, safeguards and features in place, it's helpful to learn how to read a blockchain explorer. It's helpful to know what addresses look like on this network or that network, and just get a little, it'd be like, learning a little bit about code. Most people who are using a smartphone will never have to see a line of code. We're so far abstracted from that. But, it might be helpful to learn about file folders and, how to read the contents of a file. Just little things like that, different kinds of file extensions, that will help you see what's true, see what's false, and just move with more confidence. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the time windows are nice. I've found them to be generally accurate. I guess, fun fact, the reason that sometimes it takes longer is because Coinbase or Kraken or whoever, they store crypto in they don't always store all of it the exact same way. So they don't just have like a wallet, where everyone who is keeping money on Coinbase, like all their crypto is not just living in the same wallet. It's all spread out into a bunch of different hardware wallets and software wallets combined to make it so that people who are like actively trading back and forth have quicker access to stuff, but someone whose account perhaps was made where they are just like storing their Bitcoin on and they've never done any of it. Like I don't know exactly what the time limit is, but certain point, money gets moved into cold storage and it's abstracted, it's split up, it's moved around so that it's harder to exploit. It also makes it a lot harder to track how much money Coinbase or any of these are holding. If you go into a blockchain explorer with the big memes or like any of the tokens that are frequently traded on these exchanges, you can usually find the addresses to hot wallets that are flagged like as, a Binance wallet or a Coinbase wallet or something like that. So those would be examples of like one of the wallet addresses, but there are tons. So if you go to like make a bunch of withdrawals, not all of your crypto is sitting in the same wallet, and it might take a minute for someone to like, okay, let's pull it out of cold storage and now send it over here so that you can take it and withdraw it here. So there's just, that's kind of one of the reasons that you might notice some different times. Maybe this time it was 5 minutes, maybe tomorrow it's an hour.
That also reminds me of like MetaMask. If you guys don't know MetaMask, wildly popular, hot wallet that is kind of like a Coinbase wallet. It's an extension on your browser, right? It's very, very popular, been around for a long time. But like I've sent like an Ethereum-based token called an ERC20. If you guys don't know the term, over to my MetaMask wallet, or like an Avalanche token over to the Avalanche version of my MetaMask wallet. But I haven't hit the import new token button yet. And so I go back to the wallet address and it says that like that token I just sent over is not there. And I'm just like, and then you have to go and hit the import token button to then add that token so that it's visible in your wallet. It's there on the blockchain, it's just not visible in the wallet. So then you have to add the token to your wallet to be able to see it. And then you're just like, oh, my tokens are there. And then it pops up and it's populated. And I'm like, okay, cool, okay. I've been doing this for like 7 to 8 years now and it still gives me a heart attack.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I've been kind of driving this ship this morning a little forcefully, so don't let me take it there if you don't want to go there. I would love to hear where you guys want to go. The only other kind of topic on my list that I thought was particularly newsworthy was the Telegram story. But I would love for either of you to say where you want to take this ship next.
I was going to say...
Story? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Alex.
The Telegram story for sure, because that's wild. But markets are a little bit not shit right this very moment, so I'm looking forward to
a bit of a market update first, and then we can save the juicy Telegram bit for last. Give me a second to pull it up. That'll work.
Yeah, I was going to say, Will, if you have any thoughts as you are watching and tracking this stuff more closely than we are, just because I know I saw your video about ETH ETF not being quite as good. Bitcoin probably doing a little bit better in those ETFs, which I think tracks completely. And then just sort of, I don't know if you've adjusted your outlooks or what this latest newer data has done for you.
Yeah, so where we're at now, and I apologize for the glare on the screen. Let's bring this down. Let me go to the weekly chart. Let me clean some things up here. Okay, this is prettier. So this is the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. Actually, let me get a little closer. So where we're at right now, just looking at things purely Bitcoin from a TA standpoint, is right now we're in a good spot. This long wick, I'll actually use my mouse. This long wick here shows us that, hey, there was a lot of bullish momentum coming in. And when you combine that long wick with this big candle getting above the 12-week and the 21-week exponential moving average, you're like, hey, this is looking pretty good so far. If you come down to the MACD also, the MACD is showing, bearish momentum slowing down. We might have a chance to actually start to have like a nice multi-week, kind of bullish crossover. That'd be great too. And if we have that all work out, we could have something where we get above this channel, finally turn the previous all-time high into support. Maybe we hang here for a little bit and have a chance to actually go upwards. Maybe not that aggressively, but that's the chance and the opportunity. Oh, wrong thing. In the most bullish scenario, where we're at with stocks, and this is stocks on the 4-hour time frame, paints a very interesting picture. So here's the previous all-time high. As you can see, we're pretty close to it. We do have a gap here, and we have a gap here. If you guys don't know what gaps are, they are caused when the markets close and then when they open the next day, typically on a weekend. Maybe the stock just starts out at a higher price for the day. And the trading strategy with this is, because it happens almost all the time, is that price.
Will.
Yeah.
Time out. Stupid question.
Yes.
The gaps, just because it's not a surprise to anyone. I don't know I'm not a trader. So I understand like what causes the gap, like you just said, when you close and then open with a discrepancy. Is that all a result of like over the counter trading, or like how is that, or like why would the stock automatically start trading at a different price than it closed at? Is that just because of after hours trading or?
It's after hours and pre-hours trading. So there's just some trading that's allowed after hours and pre-hours that is going up either because of some good news maybe being dropped later on Friday, or good economic day, what have you, or maybe just speculation. People just ran it up, right? That's just what causes it.
Well, who is allowed to do that trading?
Enough of that happens, we get a gap essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can actually get involved in pre-trading as well, but like I don't have the best answer. I'd have to Google you. Okay. I have to Google it for you. But so this is what we're seeing. This is what we see could happen. Now, what could happen for the stock market is, differently. Let me go here. Can I get a good color? Never mind. What could happen instead is we actually get, an interest rate cut boom right here, right? Because the interest rates, are pretty much guaranteed to happen. But the thing is, we have these gaps down here, so then we could fill them later if we have like a large economic collapse later on. So what we're interested in watching this week, the reason why I mention all of this, is we're interested to see which way the stock market goes, because of how closely tied Bitcoin has been to the stock market. And if we go up, there's the chance that Bitcoin could continue this momentum and continue to move upwards. Or if we go down, I've been theorizing that since we're now starting to finally get good technicals on Bitcoin's chart, that people could take the profits that they made here in the stock market, which is a 10% move in stocks, and start to put it into the underperforming asset, which is oversold still on some key indicators. So that's what we're trying to see if is going to happen. So it's a very interesting week. The only thing that we really need to know from a Bitcoin side of things is that Bitcoin's price really doesn't need to move much throughout this entire week in order to maintain, air quotes, its bullish momentum. And I'm watching the stock market really closely because markets front run events. And after Jerome Powell had his speech last Friday at Jackson Hole, where he gave really, really bullish statements, he said, hey, like, we're definitely going to cut rates. He didn't say definitely, but like, he hinted at it very strongly, even suggested that a soft landing for the economy was possible. So super dovish, very bullish statements. The thing is everyone was waiting until September 18th to be like, okay, cool, are we going to get rate cuts or not? But after that speech, almost everybody knows we're going to have rate cuts. So then you have to ask yourself the question, how are markets going to react? Because markets are forward-looking. Are they going to sell the news that Jerome Powell gave us on Friday, and the markets are going to take a bit of a dip, the stock market? Or are the markets going to continue to rally up until the official announcement of rate cuts on September 18th, and then sell then? Or is it going to be a slow grind sideways? Up, down, or sideways? Which one's it going to be? So this week's going to be really telling to see if that sell the news is going to happen now, or if that sell the news is going to happen closer to September 18th. I am of the opinion that the stock market looks like it wants to sell off now, but we shall see. So that's what I'm looking at.
Excellent.
That's a really long answer of saying I don't know what's about to happen, and I'm keeping my eyes on it.
No, and it's I always come away from your explanations learning something, and then honestly, I usually have 2 or 3 questions to ask, which I feel like is a really good mark of a great teacher. So I look forward to when you give us your market updates. Well, I was taking some notes over here, and it looks like some of the answer about the gap is related, and someone said it in the comments. Futures trading is a big part of what contributes to those gaps too. Like not necessarily even pre and post market trading happening today or tomorrow, but like 6 months ago, someone had a futures order to buy or sell Bitcoin at a certain price, and so when the market closes, if it hit a certain target or whatever, those orders will get filled.
Yeah. Well, that's why we have the futures chart for Bitcoin, and there will be gaps on the futures chart for Bitcoin, which does affect the price action of spot Bitcoin also too. So I wasn't thinking about that with stocks. With stocks, you have the pre and post market too, which is not something you have with Bitcoin because Bitcoin's 24/7. But no, that makes total sense.
Very well said. Very well said. So we don't know if it's going up or down. We don't know what your favorite token's going to do. But it's a lot of fun to learn about these things as they happen. And I don't know if you're trading the reverse Watson indicator. Are you buying or selling? Let us know.
Well, the thing is, if you're
I was delighted to learn about the existence of this.
If you're doing the reverse Watson, you should be longing Amazon because I'm shorting Amazon. And if you want to reverse Watson, you should not have bought Aerodrome Wednesday or Tuesday through Thursday. I got a good bit of aerodrome between the price of 62 cents and 66 cents.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I wish I had bought a little more. I am thinking about buying this Telegram dip, to be completely honest. Now that
what happened there? The CEO got arrested for like money laundering and like all these.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's so he was on a plane, hit the ground, and it sounds like it was a real, tech CEO dream where you're, probably flying private, you're probably dressed real well. There was a beautiful woman next to him that the internet is wondering, like, who is she? And then you open the door, you step out to the tarmac, and they throw you in cuffs. And the charges include terrorism, trafficking, conspiracy, fraud, money laundering. But it sounds to me, this is after reading the Reuters article and a CNN summary, it sounds to me like these are charges related to not necessarily, at least from what we've heard, his activity, but from his status as the founder of an app, Telegram, that is used by many people for these things. I'm curious. Obviously, we need more details. Is he, in fact, like having a hand in this, or did he code a piece of software that people are using to do illegal things? In which case, this is a lot more like the Tornado Cash lawsuit, where, the founders created a piece of open source software that folks use for all kinds of reasons, some of which are illegal. I don't think Telegram is open source, though. And so I'm not sure how strong his defense would be in the event of a lawsuit where people wanted to accuse him of allowing these things to happen and so being a criminal. But it resulted in about a 15% drop in the Telegram price on Friday, the ton token price. It went from, being pretty steady to doing a little whoop, and it's still kind of trying to find its feet. So ton is the token for the Telegram cryptocurrency network. We gave it an A on our Thursday night stream ahead of the news coming out Friday morning because we think that, to summarize it, Telegram as an app and as a blockchain network has literally hundreds of thousands of users. They have an ambitious plan to have 1.5 million people on chain by 2015 or 2025. 2015, where the hell am I? And they very well could do it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you have any further information, Alex? Because I know we found out about this at the same time, but I think you might be in the same boat as me, that we know what he's charged with. We don't know if there's proof in the pudding.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, a lot of, an arrest has been made, allegations have been made, but like nothing, he hasn't been to court yet or anything. So it's all just, we don't know yet. We don't know.
Yeah, I would say though that it's probably a good, if you're like really interested in buying Toncoin, probably a good opportunity to buy Toncoin, because it's like Telegram's still operating, that gigantic pool of people that they have to onboard onto Toncoin, still very much so there. So if you think the bull market's still on, then probably not a bad time to start dollar cost.
900 million monthly active users. Wow. Thanks, Doug.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot. Coinbase is trying to onboard 1 billion people and might do it, but they got to play catch up. When you're talking almost 900 million, that's a very close to the finish line, as it were. Yeah, and Nita is giving us some additional context that they think it's the scenario that they're trying to close down an open platform. Telegram is famously encrypted; it's famously private. People use it to get around government filters and things like that. Someone added, I wonder why Russia is objecting to the arrest. Did he not flee Russia? Yes, he did. That was a big part of their history, was that he, refused to deny a platform to Alexei Navalny, who is an opposition leader in Russia. They wanted him to crack down on it. Durov actually founded like the Facebook of Russia before he built Telegram, and is pretty famous for like trying to get away from Russian influence because he didn't feel like it went well with what he wanted to build as a social network, which was, something private, something difficult to surveil, peer to peer. I don't know. It's a very interesting story, and I'm sure it'll make a great movie.
It's going to be interesting to watch. We'll see what happens. I mean, they certainly threw the creator of the Silk Road into jail. I forget his name. So if they apply that same logic, they'll be trying to do the same.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah, and I mentioned Tornado Cash because if you're not hip to the Tornado Cash lawsuit, I highly recommend a 10-minute Google search because it is. I don't think this is an overstatement. It is the most important lawsuit in the crypto space today, right now. More than Ripple, more than Ethereum, even though that's done. It is the most important lawsuit because it will determine in a global way the implications of writing a piece of code. If you code something that's open source, can you be prosecuted for how people use it? If the answer in the Tornado Cash case is yes, then there are a lot of crypto developers who will be discouraged from helping us build, the Web3 future we envision. It will be illegal to do it. That would be huge. So we should all care about that. I wanted to ask you guys again. We touched it earlier. Do you can you confirm the details of what happened in that funny McDonald's meme coin heist?
I didn't even look into it. The only thing I know is that there was a heist that they put out like the Grimace Shake token or something like that, and then stole a bunch of money. But I didn't look into the story, Alex. That's something that I feel like would have grabbed your attention to dive into.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it just because it was a great example of the dangers of corporate social media.
And believing everything you read online.
Yeah, exactly. This is why you never just accept information from one single source. Internet info gathering 101. If only one person is saying something, it's probably bullshit. There's always multiple examples, but no, it was just like Will said, it was just a fake Grimace meme coin that made it look like it came from corporate McDonald's, and they made away with like what $700,000 worth of SOL.
Yeah, it was a lot of money.
Yeah,
and it was quick.
There's so much trust in like a corporate official, verified account. You're like, oh, okay, this can't be a scam. This is the verified account, and bam. Yeah. Also, when I first saw a video, it was like the Grimace Shake is back. I was like, I was just scrolling through TikTok, and I was like, oh hell yeah, Grimace Shake's awesome. And I just kept scrolling, and I was like, I was thinking for like an hour or two before I saw something on Twitter where I was like, man, I never got to get the Grimace Shake before, and now I can go to McDonald's, I can finally get the Grimace. Hell yeah. And so I was like super positive about it, and then I saw it was like a crypto scam, and I was like, oh no.
What does a Grimace Shake taste like? Does it taste like grape? Because that'd be my suspicion. But if it tastes like grape, like a grape milkshake, it sounds like something they would do in Europe, which I'm sure is delicious and beloved by many people. But I feel like I would not enjoy it.
I don't know. Well, apparently, if you do it, Grimace comes and murders you in a horrific way. But so that wouldn't enjoy that.
Oh my gosh!
Do you remember that TikTok trend?
No.
You guys don't know what I'm talking about?
No.
That's how the Grimace Shake became famous on TikTok. It was because people were like, oh yeah, Grimace Shake, and they'd take a sip, and then like it would cut to them being like horrifically murdered. And then like Grimace Shake would just be like all over the room, and they'd be like lying down there. People got really creative. There are ones where they got like raptured in the world, like raptured up, and they're like shaking violently and like vomiting out like Grimace Shake. And then McDonald's was like, what? Like our Grimace Shake sales are doing really well. What's happening? And then they just like have made videos and skits of like showing the CEO videos of people being like murdered by Grimace. And there's like, oh, why? Why?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and that's how the Grimace Shake became famous.
Pretty good production quality on a lot of those TikToks. There's some very.
I
good
remember
ones.
seeing like the first second of videos like that, and then scrolling past because I was like, Grimace Shake seems like a trend. Wasn't I really should have watched?
I mean, they're still here. You can go find them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna have to look it up. But yeah, the TLDR is like we were saying earlier. If you want to do crime, there are so many opportunities probably for you to make a lot of money and risk jail time. We are not endorsing that, but it could be as easy as getting someone who has the keys to a social media account at your favorite brand to click on a bad link, and then go on Pump.Fun, launch a meme token, and paste the contract address in the bio of your account. People will click it. Some of them will spend money. It's a numbers game. If you've got 10 million followers, 1 million of them will see it, 100,000 of them will click, and 1,000 of them will spend money. And then you just, you rug it and run away. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Be a good person.
Yeah, don't do that, because they'll find you. It's on chain. They'll find you.
That's one of the things I would love to see changed on a legislative and policy issue that we're just not ever fucking talking about. Like, you've made the big US regulative agencies are just looking at the dumbest shit ever, and meanwhile people are just grifting gajillions of dollars openly on social media, and I've never seen any indication that any of it has ever been taken seriously. It's wild. It's wild to me that, like, you have in the background, you've got, like, Caitlyn Jenner, for example, like openly breaking the law, and not the only one, by the way. Every celebrity, influencer, meme coin, like flagrantly using social media to illegally pump a Ponzi scheme to make money. And the SEC is just like, let's send a Wells notice to Uniswap. Bitch, what?
Right.
Like, what?
Literally the most compliant exchange that is decentralized,
It's literally like juking out of the way, skipping people, like actively murdering each other to like go for that one guy jaywalking in the background. It's just, that's the SEC right now, and it's obscene.
So we have a great request from our number one gifter. Thank you very kindly for being our number one gifter, Mel. You do not have to send us gifts. The best thing you can do is watch and maybe tap with your thumb to let the algorithm know this is helpful. We so appreciate it. But since you gifted, we will honor it and answer your question. What do we think about Metaplex? I just stumbled on it, says Mel, and I was shocked at the chart. So already I am inclined to think it might be too good to be true. If you're shocked at the chart, it's just like a high APY. This is Metaplex, Metaplex. If you guys want to play along at home, it's metaplex.com. I've already verified the website here, and I have never seen this before. Have you guys seen this before as we pull it up?
I have not.
Okay, Alex, have you seen this before or heard of it?
I've heard of it, yeah. I've never looked into it. I'm doing
that. Then that to me, not necessarily a red flag, but it's usually a yellow flag to me personally. I've cultivated a network of friends and family who are really crypto literate, and also literate in a particular way. If Alex or Will says, Evan, have you heard about this token? That is like taking a sip of water that has been filtered through charcoal. I know it's pretty safe to drink, or it's going to be a really entertaining time. The fact that I haven't heard about this doesn't mean it can't be awesome, but you know what I mean? It makes me think, like, is there a reason I haven't heard about this? Because people in my network are not excited about it, possibly for good reason. I'm going to open it up. As you guys look, what do you think?
It is I'm doing air quotes on this because their website. Metaplex is the trusted standard for NFTs and tokens on Solana, used by thousands of applications, developers, and communities. I don't know about that. Let's find out. 512 million NFTs minted, collectors, total revenue, 1.2 billion. That's off their website. What does it do? Developer tools. I guess it offers developer tools to make and mint NFTs.
And this might be the website. Do you see anything there? I'm not on the site. I went to CoinGecko. Do you see anything there about like scaling the infrastructure of Solana?
No.
Okay. Because there was a group that sounded, I don't remember their name, but that aimed to just, build out more infrastructure tools, a new protocol for tokens, a new protocol for NFTs, a new exchange, a new this. And I do see that Metaplex is a DAO, or they claim to be. They have a token, which is called MPLX. I would be curious to know how you can buy it and how they use it, and whether or not they really need it. But just for context, because Mel told us the token had been on a sort of a tear, it has, in the last month, got a note. In the last month, it has climbed from 20 cents to 32 cents. But it has had, success before that too. And I can't see necessarily why.
Yeah, well, this is their white paper, so this isn't on-chain data, right? But it offers tools and standards for developers and businesses to build decentralized applications. known for powering digital assets, including NFTs, RWAs, gaming assets, DPIN. Metaplex is one of the most widely used blockchain protocols and developer platforms with over 550 million assets minted across 55 million unique wallets. That is not coming from on-chain data, though. It's coming from their white paper.
Did you know?
How is their token used?
The ticker is MPLX, and while Will is looking that up, Alex, feel free to interrupt me, but all-time price information looks like it was launched with a token price of 60 cents. I don't see what that market cap correlates to because I'm in this view. It looks like it didn't have a lot of market cap at that time, and maybe it was only in the hands of DAO members is what I'm guessing. It had a sell-off, huge sell-off, and then sort of a spike in price 6 months ago, and has kind of done this since then. The available circulating supply is about a quarter of the total supply, which makes me concerned about its prospects in the future. If people don't have a demand for this token that can be filled as they continue to dump tokens on the market, like who are they going to sell this thing to? Which is why we got to go back to the question, what are they using the token for? Why would anybody need it?
Yeah, so one thing that's a little concerning, although I would imagine that the first wallet here is supply that's being released, but the first 4 wallets have 32 or 34%, if I did my math right, of the total supply, which is a potential concern. So it seems like pretty centralized supply, but I'm trying to get some. I'm still trying to find some more data on this.
Alex, are you seeing anything over there?
I would have to ask a developer like if this shit's any good.
Yeah.
Because I get the idea, unifying Solana under token standards, because that's one of those things. Just about Solana, I guess. Fun fact is the way the token standards work over there is a little bit different than the way that it works on ETH or something else, EVM.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're like in the beginning of the life cycle of Solana having stuff in its ecosystem, there was a lot of issues with clashing token standards being used on different platforms. If you had NFTs that were minted with token standard A and you tried to send them to a wallet that perhaps only recognized NFT token standard B and C, then similar thing to sending your stuff to an address that doesn't support the token, right? It just sort of disappears. And that caused a lot of problems in the early days. And then sort of there was just this, community efforts to just agree, like, okay, well, let's just use these standards and we're not going to use these standards. So there's definitely like a service that's needed. But yeah, I haven't been able to figure out from digging, like, why do I need the token?
Yeah, I don't have any information on the token, but here's a little bit more legitimacy. So Metaplex was founded by Stephen Hess, Bartosz Lipinski, Austin Federa, and Nikhil Kumar. So the founders are public. Let's see. Their first version was built in just 6 weeks in 2021 to try to get ahead of the Bitcoin Miami event. The first NFT collection that launched on it crashed it, and so then they built it back up from the ground up. In the first quarter of 2022, OpenSea announced the Solana integration powered by Metaplex. So OpenSea did the integration with Solana with Metaplex. Magic Eden then integrated Metaplex collection standard on April 1st, 2022. Enables users to verify the authenticity of an NFT with on-chain data. So it does useful stuff.
Yeah.
They also raised $1 million for a fund to support Ukraine. That's interesting. January 2022, project raised, blah, 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 blah. In 2022, they raised $46 million for a strategic funding round. So they have money. They're trusted by OpenSea and Magic Eden, so they've actually done some good work. Their founders are public. I still don't have any information on how the token is used, but some good things here.
So the token is used as a utility and governance token in the Metaplex protocol. This is meaning that token holders have a vote that is commensurate to their share for the evolution of the protocol through the Metaplex DAO.
Okay, so it's just a governance token.
It's just a governance token, and it's a speculative token. It doesn't sound like you pay for gas or anything like that. And I do have a little more information about the kind of pillars of their promise, what they're hoping to accomplish in that infrastructure play. Is number one is the digital asset standard. They are interested in defining the structure of metadata for specifically NFTs to make them more interoperable across Solana, including wallets, marketplaces, dApps, etc. They're building a library, which you may have heard of, the MPL library, the Metaplex program library. This is multiple infrastructural protocols for on-chain functionality, specifically for NFTs. They have advanced developer tools and SDKs to streamline working with their tools, and then the governance token. So it does very much sound like this is the kind of like company I think is going to play a huge role in crypto. They're building infrastructure, and they're really truly building it. Stuff that will make it easier for other people to just get on the network and then do cool stuff with it. And my question from here would be like, okay, what are some Web 2 companies that are comparable to this? And what is their value determined by the market? I think a lot of these crypto companies, the market cap here is 80 million for comparison. I don't know in my head, what should a company like this be worth to determine, is this token accurately priced? Or if they unlock more tokens, like, will they support that? 80 million, I don't have a good ballpark in my head for if that seems legit or not. Do you guys, what do you think, Will?
Honestly, I have such a hard time trying to understand, or trying to like decide if a token is at fair valuation, because so much of what we have in crypto doesn't provide enough value to warrant even like a $10 million market cap, and yet we end up getting multiple billions, right? So,
see every layer one.
yeah, exactly. So like that's always just really hard. So you have to answer that question while putting on like your cryptocurrency hat, which is basically like trying to compare it to a competitor, but understanding that the competitor that's like the leading version of it in the space, whatever it is incredibly overvalued and has been for forever in the grand scheme of things. But in the eyes of crypto, that's your measurement. That's the lead horse, and you're basing your fair value off that lead horse, even though, you know, I was about to say, like, you're in like the wrong race, or like the race is a Fugazi, like, you know. So that's a really hard question to answer. And I don't know who Metaplex's main competitor would be, because, I mean, I guess it would be whoever does that on Ethereum. And I don't know who does that on Ethereum.
I mean, the Ethereum Foundation is who I'm thinking. And
yeah,
you know.
So I don't know. That's a hard question to answer. And the fair value would say is also, you have to account for like how hot is the NFT trend. And right now NFTs are, we're talking about them a little bit more, but they're still very quiet. So I would even say like, an $80 million market cap for like the leader in the space for doing all the things that Metaplex is doing is probably a fair market value right now, given how the NFTs aren't hot. But if NFTs get to like where they were, you know, Metaplex could be like a $500 million market cap. You know, it could, you know, but that just depends on if NFTs become, you know, popular again as a form of speculation.
Well, and that's a good answer to Mel's question. Are NFTs dead? The question is not whether NFTs most certainly are not dead, but maybe NFTs attached to JPEGs that people like to gamble and speculate on, that might be dead. Who knows? Or most of it might be dead.
There will come a time where human greed brings speculation back over to a lot of the old NFT sets. I'm sure I'd be shocked if that doesn't happen again at some point. If it does, probably a top indicator, probably a really heavy, hot and heavy top indicator. But yeah, and NFTs are definitely not dead. Doodles has been doing great. Pudgy Penguins have been doing great. NFTs as a technology are incredibly transformative and will eventually be adopted into various industries. So yeah, NFTs aren't dead, but yeah, we'll see about those PFP picks.
Well, fellas, we've been at it for almost 2 hours, and I am out of coffee officially, so I'm approaching well met status. I wonder if you think it's time for final questions, good jokes, and we ride our horses into the sunset. What do you think about that?
I think so.
I'm good with that. Alex?
Works for me.
Okay, and Mel, you're certainly welcome. Let me remind you, everybody, while these guys collect their final thoughts, that we are here every Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. UTC. And we have started going live after dark Thursdays. If that changes, we'll let you know. But our plan is to go live this Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. The easy way to remember it is think about when our show starts and then go forward 12 hours. And the only thing missing is you. Last time we did a bunch of research based on your picks in the Discord, just like we did here for Metaplex. Said what we thought, gave it a grade, asked you what you thought, and everybody was happy except the people that weren't. So it's a lot of fun. We'd love to see you there. And we also would love your feedback on how we can be better in Discord, in the newsletter, on the YouTube channel. We have all these places where we give out free educational information, and we want to be the best community on any blockchain anywhere where you can accelerate your learning journey. So give us that feedback. Definitely check those links out at theriseupmorningshow.com. I would jump into the Discord first. If you've never used Discord or you're feeling overwhelmed, don't fret. We've got a total video walkthrough where Alex and I go through every channel in the server. All of us are there. It's the best way to get in touch with our community. It's totally free to join, and we even have paid options for people who do want to accelerate their learning journey. That'll give you discounts to every single class, every single coaching, all of the cool merch we have, like the Rise Up Morning Show coffee mug, and then early access to other experiences like Discord-only streams, so on and so forth. But while you can pay, and while it is valuable, you don't have to pay. And in fact, most of the stuff we offer, like this stream, is totally free because we want you to try it. We want you to get connected to a community. We want you to accelerate your learning journey. Start at theriseupmorningshow.com. Guys, what are your final thoughts, questions, suggestions, good jokes, words of wisdom?
I don't know if I have a lot of words of wisdom to share, but the only thing that's top of mind right now that has been is just like the anxiety I have, just like how much more political crypto is about to become as we get closer and closer to the US election. And I'm just like, can we stop? And I know we can't. I know we can't. And I know some people just can't help themselves, but guys, whatever aisle of the fence you sit on, just remember, we're going to get even more crap that is our headlines or our videos that are designed to trigger our emotions, to get us to click, to get us to react. Understand that, remember, if you see something and it upsets you and you immediately go into a comment section or you're about to stitch a video or something, remember that you were probably manipulated into doing just that in that moment. And that take a step back and be like, oh, let me just put this into Google real quick and try to word it in a non-biased way to try to get all the information I can first, and then I'll go comment, and then I'll go make a stitch. Or maybe I'll just choose to ignore this person sitting in there, whatever, just being a troll online. So just try to be aware of your own emotions as we see the headlines coming from the news, from the tweeters, from their tweets, from the tiki-talkies, and try your best to stay sane. Plug out of it every now and again. Go outside, hang out with friends. Realize that people are beautiful and awesome for the most part, and the trolls online are real tough and real bad. But anyway, that's it. I'll stop there.
Well said, Alex. What about you, brother?
I don't have much to add. Just actually, no. What Will said. Good shit. Everything is designed to take advantage of the fact that we all have dwindling attention spans, and so the only way to get past that is to make you scared or angry.
But remember, if my videos make you scared or angry, comment, like, share, save. Send it to your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. Repost it. Repost that shit. Repost it again. Come back to it
Engage!
Remember, I'm your friend, and my manipulation is good. So remember that, guys.
That's right. And we
I mean,
are
for real,
all
though.
just people sharing their opinions on the internet, even though you trust us, and we so value and appreciate your trust. We want you to verify everything we say. Don't just take it for granted because it came from, guys you know and like and would hang out with in real life. Though we do love that. And we do think you are the best part of this show. You don't trust. Verify. Go touch grass. Go make some money. Hug somebody you love. And then come join us again tomorrow on the show. We'll be back. Same time, same place, right here on TikTok. And until then, my friends, we wish you well. Rise up.
Bye.